Hi, this is Sandy, and welcome to GumbyYoga number 33. I haven't done them in a while, but we have a surprisingly beautiful day in November, and so I'm taking advantage of that. So let's get started. Let's bring the legs out in front. Let's inhale, come all the way up. Exhale all the way forward. And again, inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale forward. And one more big one. Inhale up. Exhale forward. And let's pull up. Let's bring the feet in so the knees are up. We're going to be going into Ardha Bakasana today, side crane. And for that, we're going to be using our core a little bit. So let's work that just a little bit to get stretched out, loosened up. Let's lean back. And bring your hands in between you. Stretch all the way out and back up. So we're kind of into a boat-like position. Bring it down into one boat and back up. And then bring your knees together. Bring your hands off to one side. And you want to have your hands just like you're on an imaginary floor. Tilt back and then up and again, down and up. Let's go off to the other side, down and up and down and up, and bring the legs out in front, and one more time, inhale up, exhale forward. Big stretch for the hamstrings, and from here let's pull it to all fours, hands and knees, and round the back all the way up, arch the back the other way into cow. And again, all the way up into cat, arch the other way into cow. Back to neutral, let's tuck the toes and pull it right back into downward facing dog. So pushing back, great big stretch to the hamstrings. And let's come forward into plank. Your body's one big straight line from your head to your heels. Lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes and come back into down dog. Let's do that again for good measure, coming forward into plank, lower down, sweep it up, and tuck the toes and bring it back. Let's take your right leg, bring it up and over, loosen up that hip joint. Maybe you'll rotate the leg in the hip socket one way, the other way. Extend the leg straight out behind you, and then exhale, bring your knee to your nose, send it back. And bring your knee forward again, bring it all the way into Pigeon, Bakasana. So sitting up, settling in, getting our hips to open up. And let's lift up, send that leg back up. Bring the knee forward again, place the foot in between your hands. Let's drop the left knee, flip the left foot, sweep the arms up, and let the hips fall forward. Very deep lunge, low lunge. Bring the hands down to the mat, and let's straighten out your right leg. Bring your nose to your right kneecap. An option here, if you want, you can go all the way back so you're sitting on your left heel. Walk the hands forward, bring your nose to your right kneecap again. Again, just stretching out the hamstrings. Let's lift up, walk forward. Tuck the left toe, lift the knee off the ground, send the right leg back into downward facing dog. And again, forward into plank, lower down, flip the toes, back into down dog, and let's raise the left leg up. Let the leg flop over, loosen up that hip joint, rotate the leg around one direction, other direction. And then extend the leg straight out behind you. Exhale, bring the knee to your nose, send it back. And bring the knee forward again, place the knee in between the hands, coming into Bakasana on this side. And sitting up, settling in. Tuck the toe, pull the hip up and back, the leg up and back. And again, bring the knee forward, place the foot in between your hands, drop the right knee, flip the right foot. Sweep the arms up, Let the hips fall forward. Again into our low, very deep lunge. Bring the hands down to the mat. Straighten out the left leg. Nose comes to your left knee. And again, option, maybe you walk all the way back, so you're sitting on your right heel, maybe on your mat. Walk the hands forward. Nose comes to your left knee. Very good. Let's lift up. Walk forward. Walk the hands forward. Tuck the right toe. Lift the knee off the ground. Send the left leg back into downward facing dog. Again, through our vinyasa, plank, lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes back into downward facing dog. Let's come back into plank, and for plank, bring your left hand to the center, release the right arm up, coming up into Vasistasana. So all the various options here, you can raise the right leg for a little more challenge. And arm comes down, bring that right foot all the way forward, up into a lunge. This time we're going to go up into a high lunge. So we're up on our back toes, stretching up through the spine. And let's sink into it, bringing the hands down to heart center, coming lower and lower. You may want to step that left foot back a little more, coming lower, and twist off to your right. See if you can tuck the elbow over that knee, and then open up the arms so that your left hand is coming on the outside of your right foot. We're going to come back to this later in this video. So this is a good thing to see if you can get into. Let's bring the hands back down to the mat, step back into downward facing dog. And again, forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up to up dog. Flip the toes, back to down dog. Coming back into plank, this time going the other direction, right hand comes to the center. Release. Again, options, maybe the left leg is going to reach over. Arm comes down. To a lunge. Release all the way up into a high lunge. Stretch out. Again, step heart center. Lower, lower. Twist to your left. Into it, maybe with our arms. And both hands down. Stick back into downward facing dog. And let's raise the right leg up. Bring that right foot forward, placing it between your hands. Left foot plants, flat on the ground. Coming up into warrior one. Hips are square to the mat. And let's inhale up, exhale into warrior two. Right arm to the front, left arm behind you. Reach forward, flip the right palm up. Slide the left hand down the back of your leg. Inhale up, back into warrior two. Reach forward again, straighten out the right leg. Slide down to a triangle, Bakasana. And it's an easy shift from here into half moon. Shift your weight to your right foot. Right hand is going to reach out in front. Bring it into half moon. Let's release both hands, both feet down into standing forward fold. Stretching out the hamstrings a little more. Walk your hands off to the right. Back to center. Off to your left. And back to center. Inhale up to a flat back, exhale down. Plant the hands, step back into downward facing dog. Great big stretch, come forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up into up dog, and flip the toes, bring it back into down dog. Let's raise the left leg up. Left foot comes forward in between your hands. Right foot plants flat in the ground. Back into warrior one. Taking your breath here. And then inhale up, exhale into warrior two. Reaching forward, flip the left palm up, and right hand slides down the back of the leg. Inhale up, back into warrior two. Reach forward again, straighten out the left leg, slide the hand down, coming into triangle on this side. Whole body's very flat here. Just imagine like you're squished in between two big panes of glass. And then shift your weight to your left foot. Left hand is going to reach out in front. Finding the mat, bring it into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Again, body is still very, very flat. Let's release down into standing forward fold. Stretch out the hamstrings. And inhale up to a flat back. Exhale down. And from here, let's bring the arms up, bring the hips down. Coming right into chair, Bakasana. So in chair, feet and knees are no more than hip distance apart. Stretching out the arms. Let's pull it up onto your tippy toes. Coming lower and lower and lower. And then bring it all the way down. Open up the knees. Stretch up the arms into toe balance. Start the handstand for that. And then coming into an easy Bakasana, crane. So you want to be sure you're at the front of your mat. I'm actually not. Hands flatten the ground. Lift up the hips, shift the weight forward, plant your knees right around where your triceps are, even almost into your armpits. Coming forward, stretch out the arms, straighten out the arms as much as you can, and looking forward. From here, option, you can maybe jump back into plank. Otherwise, walk back, lower down to chaturanga, up into up dog, drop the knees, and let's push back into child's pose. From child's pose, let's pull it up to all fours. Take your left hand, feet it underneath your armpit, coming down into twisted cat. From here, you can make your cat more twisted if you want. Bring your hands into prayer. It's going to push your left elbow into the mat, twisting the body a little bit more. Release, push back up. And let's go to the opposite side. Right arm underneath the left armpit. Again, maybe hands into prayer, push down with your right elbow. And release, push up, push back into child's pose, stretch it out. From child's pose, let's tuck the toes, pull the hips up, back into downward facing dog, stretch it out. Forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up to up dog, flip the toes, back to downward facing dog. And from here, let's raise the right leg up. Let the leg flop over. Hold it here or flop all the way into the wild thing. We're going to push the hips up, arch the back, reach the arm to the front. Great big stretch. And let's flip back. Right leg up. Bring the right foot forward. Place it in between your hands. Left foot plants, flat on the ground. Up and into warrior one. And from here, let's inhale up, sweep the arms around and behind you. Pull the arms away from you. And with keeping your hips square to the mat, we're going to hinge forward from the waist. Bring your chest down and down. You may want to step that left foot back a little more to get a deeper stretch here, and see if you can get your chest to rest on your right thigh. Bring the arms up, and then maybe get the head and the chest even below your right thigh. Arms coming up into higher, into humble warrior. Some nice stretches here. You should feel some in your left inner thigh. Let's release, bring the hands down to the mat, and then walk the hands forward so they're at least 8 inches or more away from your right big toe. Shift your weight to your right foot, raise the left leg up, hip square the mat still, into a 3-point balance. And let's release, bring the arms up, right into Warrior 3. Coming all the way up. Shift your weight to your left foot, and your right foot is going to come up into tree, Vasistasana. So the foot can be below the knee, just below the knee, or above the knee. Stretching up through the spine. Stretch it out. Let's take that right ankle, bring it on to the left knee. Bring the hands down into prayer. Coming down into standing pigeon. Lower and lower and lower. Release the hands, unravel the legs. Coming back into standing forward fold. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale down. Let's hop or walk back into plank. Over down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes. Back into downward facing dog. And this time the left leg is going to reach up, left leg flops over. And again, either hold it here or just let gravity take over. Flop all the way, you'll be off your mat, that's fine. Push the hips up, arch the back. Right, big sweep. And let's flop back, left leg up. Bring the left foot forward, place it in between your hands. Right foot plants flat on the ground. Back into Warrior 1. Taking a breath here, settling in. Inhale up, sweep the arms down behind you. Stretch them out. And again, we're going to bring the chest down. So hinging from the waist, coming lower and lower. Again, you may want to step back a little bit with your right foot so you can get a deeper, wider stance here. Chest comes onto your thigh, arms come up. Hold it here or even bring your chest lower. And release. Bring the hands down to the mat. Make sure your hips are square to the mat. And we're going to shift our weight forward. Plant the hands about 8 inches or a foot more in front. Bring it up into 3-point balance, sometimes called modified Warrior 3. And release. Coming up into Warrior 3. And then bring it all the way up to mountain. So shift your weight to your right foot. And your left foot is going to come up into tree. Vasistasana. Stretching up through the spine. And bring the ankle onto the right knee. Hands coming down into prayer. Lower and lower and lower. And lower and lower. Release the hands all the way down to the mat. Unravel the legs. Bring it into standing forward fold. Once again, just stretch out the legs a little bit. Walk your hands off to the right. Back to center. Off to the left. And back to center. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale down. Let's hop or walk back into plank. Lower down to chaturanga. Up into up dog. Flip the toes. Back into downward facing dog. Let's drop down to the knees. Push back into child's pose. From child's pose, tuck the toes, pull the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Let's raise the right leg up. Bring the right foot forward in between your hands. Let's release up into another high lunge. So the difference between a lunge and warrior one is that in the lunge you're on your back toes. Reach the arms up. Let's bring the hands down to heart center. So remember I said we were going to revisit this little twist. Let's do it again. So coming lower and lower and lower. Twist off to your right. Tuck the elbow, sink in the hips, and open up the arms. Now, if you can get your left hand down to the mat, you're golden. Because now we're going to step our left foot forward and bring it into a twisted chair. We're going to drop the hips more and more, all the way down, and bring the hands onto the mat. Now, at this point, I'm going to slide back so I'm more in your center of vision here. At this point, hop your feet off so that both feet are on the left side of your mat. Twist your top of your torso so that your hands are and your torso is facing off to the right side of the mat, but your knees and your feet are facing straight forward. Let's start to crunch down. Take your left elbow and we're going to rub it so that we push our right knee in. So I don't know if you can see, but my hand moved about 5 inches away from the right edge of my mat, so I'm going to move my right hand so both hands are equidistant from the edge of your mat. Right elbow is going to come in, find your right hip bone, and we're going to come down. You can hit the ground if you want into side crane. How do we do with that one? Let's tuck the toes, pull it up. Let's walk back to the front of our mat into standing forward fold. Inhale up to a flat back, exhale down. Let's step back into downward facing dog. Push back, great big stretch. Come forward into plank, down to chaturanga, up into up dog. Flip the toes, back into downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up. Left foot comes forward in between your hands. Again, up into another high lunge or high crescent. Sink into it, stretch up the arms. Yeah, let's go down to heart center. Coming lower and lower and lower. Twist off to your left, tuck the elbow, sink in there, maybe open up the arms. And again, this will get you into position if you get your right hand down to the mat. So you step your right foot forward and bring it into twisted chair. Bring both hands down to the mat, drop the hips. I'm going to turn so that's easier for you to see. So you're going to twist off to the left side of your mat. Fingertips right at the edge of your left side of the mat. Feet, knees parallel, and push your right elbow in. Again, left elbow comes so that they're equidistant from the edge of your side edge of your mat. Left elbow finds the hip bone, and we come down, down and down and down, maybe all the way down. Now, an alternate way to do this, if you have a lot of upper body strength, is where you don't take that elbow and tuck it in to find the hip bone. You just have the elbow extended out. This is going to bring you a little higher up, like this. And let's release. How do we do? Let's bring the legs out in front. Inhale all the way up. That was Ardha Bakasana, side crane. And come all the way forward. Big stretch for the hamstrings. And again, one more. Inhale up. Exhale forward. Let's slide up. Let's bring the legs into a cross-legged position. And from here, put your right hand on your left knee, twist around at the back. Back to center. Put your left hand on your right knee. Twist around. Back to center. And let's lift up your right foot. Place it on the outside of your right thigh. Pull up, pull in, hand behind you, elbow into the knee, twist around. Come back to our cross-legged position, and then lift up your left foot. Place it on the outside of your right thigh, and as close as you can get it. Pull up nice and tall. Your left hand behind you, your right elbow into your knee, and twist around. Pull up as tall as you can here. Really stretch. Think about stretching upwards. And let's release. Let's bring the feet together. Pull in, pull up on the toes, and bring it into butterfly. Again, stretching up nice and tall, but also at the same time thinking about pushing these knees down. If you want, you can physically push them down. Otherwise, just pull up and will them down. Separate the toes. And we're going to tilt back so you're right on your sits bones. Stretch out the legs and pull up through the spine. Let's bring the legs together, apart. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. By the way, you need to be up towards the front of your mat. And legs are apart, legs are together. Bring them apart, bring them in so you bend your knees, and we're going to roll right back into happy baby. So just roll right back. So you're in your back. And from here, you can rock from side to side if you want. Push your back into the mat. Coming back to center, let's extend the legs straight up. Flex up through the hamstrings. And either hold it here or lift up into shoulder stand. Supporting the hips, legs reaching up. Coming all the way over into plow. Release your hands from your hips. Slowly roll down, bringing them back down to the mat so that the legs are up. And start to lower the legs, coming lower and lower and lower and lower. And before they reach the ground, bring your knees into the chest and wrap your arms either around or underneath the knees, either one. Rock from side to side. And again, give yourself a very well-deserved back massage. Coming back to center, let's hold one knee in, extend one leg out. Other knee in, other leg out. Both knees in. Let's go into one last twist. Leave the knees bent, bring the arms out to both sides, bring the knees off to your right. Back to center, and off to your left. To center. Bring them all the way up. Bring the arms down by your side and start to lower the legs. Coming lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. And let them sink into the mat. Let the heels sink in. Let your whole body sink in. And we're just sinking lower and lower. Tuning into the breathing. Being aware of the breath slowing down. And taking a great big inhale. and hold it. And let it all the way out. And again, great big inhale. And hold it. And let the breath all the way out. Let's do it again. Great big inhale. And as you inhale, imagine that you're inhaling your future. Hold it. And then exhale out. We're exhaling the past. Again, inhale. Hold it. Inhaling the future. Exhaling the past. Rolling off to your right side into the fetal position. And as we continue our yoga practice, we focus our mind and our body and our spirit all in the same place for a brief period of time, very brief, all too brief. But that power, you start to accumulate that power, the ability to focus those three things, the mind, the body, the spirit. And that power is ever so important right now, just all the crazy things going on in this lifetime, this year. When you're ready, push it up into a seated position, stretching up through the spine, rolling the shoulders back and around. And again, roll shoulders up and around and back. Pulling the head, stretching out the neck. All the way around, all the way back. Coming back to center. And coming into one big breath to conclude our practice today. Let's take a great big inhale, fill the lungs all the way up, and exhale all the way down to heart center. And the light in me honors very much the light in you. Namaste. And I'll continue doing these as long as we get nice, bright, sunny, warm days, because I am outside in the elements. See you soon. You can contact me at Sandy at bluersky, BLUERSKY.com if you have any requests, questions, or anything. Otherwise, see you next time.